Hello students, I am Ms. Deepika Bhandari. Today I bring you the next learning episode in BSc Forensic Science on an important unit of paper questioned documents. In this lecture, we will be introducing you to what paper is, types of papers and its identification. We will also acquaint ourselves with the characteristics of paper and their examination, like physical and chemical properties. In addition, we will study the comparison of various types of papers. Finally, we will wind up this module with a conclusion. So dear students, let us have a look at the modules we are going to learn today. Module 1, Introduction to Paper. Module 2, Characteristics of Paper and their examination. Module 3, Comparison of various types of papers. Module 4, Conclusion. We are living in the age of literacy and paper has become an integral part of our lives. Right from the birth certificate to death certificate, papers are associated closely with us. Various sectors like education, bank, government officers, financial and corporate establishments, etc. all extensively use papers. Even in age of computer technology and concept of paperless work, importance of paper is still intact. In early days, men used symbols and pictures to express their views. They used wall, stone, bark, bone, clay, wood, leaf, bamboo, metal, silk, etc. as writing surfaces. In India, leaves that were commonly used for writing purpose were called bhojpatras. Many grunts have been written on bhojpatra. The writing on metal sheet were known as tampatra. The symbolic writing expressions and rough writing surface were not able to represent their views clearly and correctly. Need promotes inventions. Therefore, a long journey for obtaining the quality paper and proper writing script was made. Before advent of normal paper, many inferior materials were used which were replaced by better options. Efforts are still on to make the paper more refined and writing friendly. Approximately 4,000 years ago, the word paper was found in papyrus, which was discovered as writing surface by Egyptians. The first paper was made in China 2,000 years ago, followed by Arabs in 8th century. Later it spread in France, Germany, Spain, etc. The raw materials of paper differed, but the aim to make a smooth surface was kept in the center. China used silk and later vegetable fibers, whereas Arabs started use of linen in paper making. European countries used cotton, straw, hemp, jute, etc. for obtaining better quality of paper. Paper may be described as a thin sheet of matted vegetable fibers. It is generally made of wood pulp. Filler materials, usually clay or titanium dioxide, sizing materials such as rosin or starch, and synthetic dye stuff are also used in paper manufacturing. For enhancing the water resistance ability, sizing materials are used. Filler materials contribute to smoothing of the surface of paper, opacity and printability. Dyes are added during manufacturing of paper to provide desired color to papers. These ingredients of papers are not confined to making a good quality paper, but they have a great importance in forensic investigation of questioned documents. Many a times, the writing or signature existing on document is not in question, but the determination of age of document becomes vital in deciding the authenticity of disputed documents. Analysis of paper fibers and other physical and chemical materials provide a potential evidence for forensic investigation. Types of paper. Paper may be placed in the following classes. Writing paper. Writing paper is made by rag. It is a paper of good quality and having the sizing and loading materials in sufficient amount. The thickness and smoothness of the surface is superior. Rice paper. It is made by the pith of tree named Tetrapanax papyriferum. Tracing paper. Tracing paper contains bisulfate pulp with no loading materials. It is dipped in the oil or mineral to make it transparent. Tissue paper. It is made by high-grade chemical pulp containing wet strength additives. Board. It is generally made of old papers and straw. Paper is thick and ranging from 0.3 to 1 mm and weighs between 200 to 1000 grams per square meter. Identification of paper. Before discussing the importance of paper, it will be appropriate to recall the definition of document and handwriting. A document is any material containing marks, symbol or sign which convey some meaning or message to someone. Although in strict legal sense, the word denotes any matter expressed or described upon any surface by means of letters, figures or marks intended to be used as evidence for that matter. Whereas handwriting is considered as graphic manifestation of mental image in letter form. Handwriting generally contains visual signs or marks. In proper visualization and execution of writing, writing surface has its own significance. Three major components constitute the document, that is writing surface, writing instrument and the writer. They play a vital role in production of document. Many qualities of writing are directly proportionate to the nature and condition of the paper, that is the writing surface. Smoothness, opacity, printability of surface have their definite influence on the resultant writing. Besides routine use of papers, identification of paper is an important aspect of question document examination. The authenticity of paper is challenged in many ways. Sometimes queries are often related with the determination of probable date of execution of a document. The paper which is manufactured in a particular year has date significance. The material used in paper manufacturing have date significance. It correlates the paper and material with specific year of manufacturing. Characteristics of paper and their examination. The paper at the time of manufacturing has undergone various physical and chemical processes. These processes enhance color, strength, opacity, printability, etc. of the paper. These qualities give a characteristic identity to paper and carry weight. Additional detailed testing to physical and optical properties, nature and treatment of fibers and chemical composition may be useful in identification of the paper. Preliminary examination of paper. It is broadly classified into the following groups. Physical properties. It includes thickness, basis weight, that is weight per unit area, and strength tests. Thickness of the paper can be determined and identified by the caliper. The caliper instrument measures the thickness of the paper with accuracy to the nearest 1/10,000 of an inch. The basis weight is the weight per unit area. The density is the weight per unit volume or the apparent specific gravity. These properties are important as first step in characterization and are based on non-destructive tests. The strength tests include folding endurance, tearing strength and tensile strength. These properties may be compared subjectively by manual folding. Porosity. The porosity of paper is another test that can be added to any other proof of the validity of certain documents. It measures the amount of air that passes through the paper in a given length of time. Optical properties. Optical properties includes color, appearance, brightness, opacity and fluorescence. Appearance of paper. This is the first and obvious characteristic which is noticed by naked eye. Help of magnifying aids may be taken if needed. Writing, printed matter and type writing may also be observed by using proper magnifiers. Attention should be given to pin marks, holes, staple marks, edges and corners of the paper. Coloring. Coloring of sheets can be judged by the naked eyes. examination with appropriate instruments will disclose that the coloring used in one of the sheets is chemically different from the coloring used in the other sheet or otherwise. Color, shades, texture of paper, stiffness, strength and smoothness and thickness of paper are the characteristics quality of the paper. The evenness of the surface and its texture may be observed by sidelight examination. Opacity of paper can be measured by opacimeter. Opacity is considered as total light that can pass through the paper. Brightness, this test is particularly used for white paper. Light of particular wavelength which is reflected from the surface of the paper is observed. The brightness test is not commonly used, but it is enough demonstrative. Fibers, it includes fibers composition, extent of beating, that is refining, and formation, that is uniformity of fiber distribution. Next are chemical properties. It includes determination of sizing and loading materials with other components. Dyes, pigments and inorganic components are identified. It is a drawback with the chemical methods that they caused destructions. Spectrographic analysis. Presence of metallic elements of ash can be estimated by the spectrographic analysis. The comparison of two specimens can be successfully carried out. Chromatography. Presence of alkali and alkaline earth metals are determined by ascending paper chromatography. Method has been used successfully for characterization and identification of papers. Transparency. This is a significant character which provides useful information related to paper quality. It also discloses the fraudulent making of document by erasures and alterations. When document is examined against light and any change has been observed in intensity of transparent light on the paper surface creates suspicion. On the basis of transparency test, we can differentiate one paper from another. X-ray diffraction. Any component of paper which is crystalline in nature can be characterized by the X-ray diffraction method. The diffractogram provides help in identification and analyzing of fillers and loading materials. Infrared spectra. The components present in the paper are also identified by infrared examination. Characteristic spectrum provides help in characterization and comparison of components of two specimens. Brittle and fragile nature. An inferior quality of material used in paper manufacturing makes it easily to disintegrate. It also provides a base to differentiate two papers. Watermark laid paper or any wire mark has its own significance in paper examination. Various chemical compounds are used in paper manufacturing. They have enough identifying value. When the document is examined under ultraviolet light or infrared light, the compounds give characteristic fluorescence. Each compound has a peculiar spectrum. On the basis of different or similar spectra, the papers are compared and characterized in scientific manner. The creases and folds in terms of their number, position and relative location are well compared. The papers are examined on the basis of analyzing the basic materials used in its making. Characterization and identification of fibers, sizing and loading materials provide sufficient data to compare the different samples. Therefore, it is appropriate to know about the fibers, materials and chemicals used in the paper making process. Papers are made up of different types of fibers and materials. On the basis of difference in constituent materials, papers are scientifically compared and identified. To compare the different papers, it is appropriate to have a glance over the manufacturing of paper. First, rag. Linen, cotton and jute. Rags are the most important raw materials. These are cotton threads and waste. Second, cotton staple. This contains mainly cellulose. It is vegetable seed fiber. Fibers from different varieties of plants vary considerably in length and fineness. It is used in the production of highest quality rag content used for making bond paper, ledger and banknote paper. Third, flex. It is made up of cellulose and considered as best quality fiber. These commercial fibers are aggregates of many small fiber cells. Fourth, hemp fibers. It is also known as Manila hemp, a type of buff colored fiber obtained from the Musa textilis. The commercial leaf fibers range in length up to several feet. Average width is about 18 to 23 micron and whose length varies from several tenths to over 2 inches. This fiber is used very largely by a group of mills. Manila hemp is not only used in the manufacturing of paper but also used in shipping tags, gaskets duplicating paper, fishing nets and miscellaneous specialties. Fifth, jute. These are highly lignified phloem fibers. Cells are about 15 to 20 micron wide and relatively short, being only 1 to 6 millimeter in length. Jute butts were used for a considerable extent in the manufacture of wrapping paper. Now, jute is also used by the garment industry where its hardness and durability are highly acknowledged. Sixth, straw. This is also used in the paper manufacture. Straw is used in production of boards. The best cells or fibers from the internodes form the major part of the straw pulp. Straw of wheat, oats, barley, rice, flax are also used. Seventh, corn stalks. This is used for commercial paper manufacture in the United States. Eighth, bamboo. It is a promising source of paper making material. This is largely used in Pakistan and India. Ninth, esparto. It is known by different names in different countries. In France, it is known as alpha and in US as Spanish grass. It grows wild in North Africa and Spain. It resembles in form of stout wire. It is tapering to a fine point at the top and varying in length from 12 to 30 inches. It is used in Great Britain for the paper manufacture. Percentage of cellulose varies from grass to grass in various countries. Next is making of pulp. On the basis of composition of fibers, papers are classified broadly in 3 groups. First is mechanical pulp, second is chemical pulp and third is cotton and linen. First we will discuss about mechanical pulp. Raw materials comprising of rags, straw, grasses and woods are cut into small pieces mechanically. Sufficient amount of water is added with this material and passed through various meshes for obtaining uniformity in size. Rags and waste papers are then boiled with lime and caustic soda. Different grades of paper are finally made according to choice and need by mixtures of different pulps in particular proportions. Different chemicals such as resin, paraffin wax, alum, sodium aluminate, etc. are used to give the desirable finish to the paper and make it non-absorbent to liquids. Mechanical pulping is done by grinding the raw materials with sufficient water, screening the pulp to remove undigested particles, bleach it according the required whiteness to the paper. Hypochlorite, liquid chlorine, milk of lime, sodium peroxide, etc. are used in this process. Next is chemical pulp. For making chemical pulp, 3 processes are adopted. A. Sulfate process. In this process, sodium sulfate is used. B. Soda process. Caustic soda is used in this process. C. Sulfite process. Calcium sulfite is used in this process. Now we shall discuss about paper making. Pulp has about 70% water before sending to the paper mills. It is necessary to remove the excess amount of water. Therefore, it is pressed by the rollers and these sheets are then passed to the dryers. These sheets are then again passed over the highly polished sheets known as calendars to give polished surface to the paper. For enhancing the quality of paper in terms of whiteness and smoothness, china clay, chalk, titanium dioxide, zinc sulfate, barium sulfate, etc. are used. Finally, these sheets are cut into the appropriate sizes. Next are fillers, the additional minerals and pigments that are added according to the need. Books and good quality magazines contain good amount of fillers. The newsprints are not having much amount of fillers. Writing papers have been made with moderate fillers. Wrapping papers and board have minor amount of fillers. Fillers enhance the significant qualities of paper like opacity, color and printability. Clay, calcium sulfate, calcium carbonate, zinc sulfide, titanium dioxide, etc. are the common fillers that are used in paper manufacturing. Paper has a historic importance right from the Bhojpatra to modern notepad. It covers a long journey. The journey is still on, as the modification and upgradation in the quality is always expected according to the need and usage. Tremendous changes have been witnessed over the years in paper manufacturing industries. Papers are commonly used for writing needs. Apart from this, many other uses varies from wrapping paper to tissue paper, and thus making paper an important part of our daily life. In context of crime and criminal investigation, papers play a significant role as one of the important constituent of document. Papers are often proved as a potential forensic evidence. In the present trends in crime, white collar crimes are increasing with alarming rate like forgeries, counterfeit currencies, etc. These crimes are generally related with economic crimes and financial scams. Such crimes usually take place on or through the use of documents. Therefore, many clues may be extracted from the scientific examination of paper and analysis of its constituent materials. With all these information, here we come to the end of today's lecture. Do keep in mind what we discussed today. I'll be back with one more lecture in this series. If you want to learn more and enhance your knowledge, you may log on to our website www.cec.nic.in for multiple choice questions, quizzes, LORs, etc. Thank you for your time today. I will see you in the next lecture. Have a great day.